The following podcast contains adult content, including adult language. I talk openly about sex and other adult topics. If you are under the age of 18 or are uncomfortable listening to sexually explicit narratives, please listen no further. I am not a professional therapist, counselor, or doctor. I'm just an average guy in the swinger lifestyle who likes to share his experiences. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Please seek a professional if you are in need of guidance or care as it relates to sexual health or alternative lifestyles. What is up, my lifestyle friends? Welcome to Evan Swings, a lifestyle podcast from the perspective of a guy in the lifestyle. I am your host, Evan, and I thank you for checking out today's episode. If anyone is new to the show, a quick little background note. I'm half of a couple. The other half is my amazing wife, Eva, and we have been in the lifestyle for it's going to be 5 years, coming up on 5 years next month. We are a full swap couple in our very late 40s from the Dayton, Ohio area, and we prefer the friends with benefits dynamic. And as I've always said, I'm not a therapist or a doctor. I'm not an expert of any kind. I'm just an average guy. You know, Eva and I are just average middle-class people, and I do this podcast as a way to kind of pay it forward and share our adventures, because I've listened to some wonderful lifestyle podcasts and appreciated what they offered me in terms of entertainment and information. So now it's my turn, and I hope you enjoy it. My returning listeners, thank you so much as always for your support. And before I go any further, I think it is appropriate at this juncture. I've had a bunch of new listeners, according to the stats. I don't know. Maybe people are just listening to the same episodes repeatedly, but I doubt that. So because of that, I want to let all of you know what exactly this podcast is all about. So if you are tuning in to hear hot stories like steamy adventures in the bedroom, sexcapades, and all that, you are in the wrong place. Turn back now. Occasionally, yes, I'll have a hot story for you, an awesome experience we had, a hot adventure, but that's not what this is all about. This podcast is mostly about commentary. I give a commentary. I tell you about our experiences and offer my perspective on them. If there's lifestyle topics that pop up, I'll give you my opinion on them. I'll address them. But there are a lot of lifestyle podcasts out there that do focus on hot stories. Basically it's like listening to descriptions or a play-by-play of porn scenes. I fucked a guy in the back of my car and it was so fucking hot. Explicit descriptions of the intercourse that occurred. Well, you will not find much of that here. Sometimes you will, but I'm mostly here to talk about my perspective, my opinions about lifestyle matters based on the experiences of both myself and Eva. And again, you'll get the occasional hot story from me from time to time, but I'm not here to make my podcast as exciting and naughty as possible. If you want that excitement, you might want to try to find a different podcast. But if you want a guy's honest opinion on lifestyle topics and honest narratives of his experiences, Well, stick around, because that I can help you with. I may not always be super exciting, but it's real. Okay, I live in a small Midwest United States area. I'm not going to lie and invent exciting stories. I keep it real. Just like the lifestyle. You know, you may not have a super exciting adventure every week, but hopefully, overall, it's still enjoyable. Hopefully, it's still fun. And when I talk about a bad experience, as rare as they are, hopefully, you're at least a little bit entertained by what you hear and possibly be able to relate to what I'm saying. And that leads me to one more thing I have to say before I continue. Something that kind of prompted this. If you've listened to this podcast before and you don't like what you hear, why have you come back for more? like why would you be listening right now? I ask because there is this one poster in the Swingers subreddit on Reddit who is obviously not a fan of what I do here. She listens to lifestyle podcasts, quote unquote, so we don't have to. That's how she states it. That's how she states it on Reddit. And then she posts a brief review of these podcasts on Reddit. So I guess she sees herself as some kind of swinger podcast hero. And I'm not knocking her for it, because she gets a lot of thanks, like a lot of appreciative posts from other Redditors. So many people like what she does. And she may have reviewed more than 2 episodes of mine, but I've only actually seen 2 because I don't visit that subreddit super frequently. Both times, she used the word yawn to describe the podcast she listens to, the episode she listened to. Now, everyone has a right to their opinion, and I respect hers, but at least post an honest review. She listened to my last episode called Winding Down, but here's the thing. I don't think she actually listened to it. Maybe skimmed it, maybe glanced at like a AI generated transcript or something. But let me read you what I wrote. Getting on my phone here. Okay. He reads a letter from a listener, tries to fuck a coworker, complains about getting old. Yawn. That's it. That was the review of the episode. So she said that in the episode, I try to fuck a coworker. Go back and listen to that episode. When do I try to do that? Now, yes, I did quickly give an update on a situation involving a coworker, which a listener asked about, but that wasn't what the episode was about. It was not even a topic I discussed. In no way, shape, or form did I mention trying to fuck a coworker in that episode. In fact, in the 10 sentences that I devoted to it, that she's referring to here, I actually talked about why it was not a good idea to try and fuck a coworker. So go back and listen. That's what happened. The point of my commentary, and again, it was really brief, was to say it was a bad idea to fuck a coworker. But she clearly made it sound like one of the main topics of the episode was me trying to fuck a coworker. And it wasn't. And then she said I complained about getting old. That's what you got from the episode? That the host, me, was complaining he was getting older. I identified factors that lead me to believe that our time in the lifestyle is winding down. something that I think, maybe others can possibly relate to. I discussed health factors and lack of opportunities. But what she got out of that was I was complaining about getting old. So again, I think she got bored with the episode, and I admit that's an honest possibility, and kind of skip through it, or, just like I said, skim through the transcript. So my reviewer friend, if you are listening to this, thank you so much for giving this podcast another chance. I sincerely appreciate it, and I am not being facetious at all. I truly mean it. Your opinion about Lifestyle Podcast is obviously well respected by members of that forum. And I really hope that if you ever listen again, someday one of my episodes will resonate with you in a positive way. And if you want to give me negative reviews, do it. That is your right. Freedom of speech. I would never ask you not to. You have every right to crap all over it and tell everyone how badly it sucks. But please, at least be accurate with your description as to what the episode is all about, and show that you actually, listen to it. Don't give false information about it. Or if I'm not your cup of tea, simply don't listen. I guess what I mean is that if you're going to keep offering your services as a lifestyle podcast critic, why write an incorrect, inaccurate summary of an episode? And if you don't enjoy it, well, why listen at all? People who listen to podcasts they don't enjoy must have a lot more free time than I do. So, unless they aren't actually listening, of course. My word of advice to everyone out there, everyone who's interested in checking out other podcasts, make your own decisions. Listen and decide. Because obviously there are some inaccurate reviews out there posted by respected reviewers. And that actually ties into a lifestyle lesson here. Do I think everyone who listens to this podcast is going to love it? Hell no. I'm confident that there isn't a podcast out there about any topic that every single person listens to and loves with all their heart. Someone, somewhere, is always going to reject it in some way. Just like the lifestyle. Okay, you're not going to be every single person's cup of tea. Now, I would estimate over 99% of all lifestyle members have been rejected at some point for various reasons. Physical attraction, or the lack thereof, is certainly a significant reason to reject someone. But there are other factors too. Maybe they're looking for a different dynamic. Eva and I have turned down soft swappers and parallel players. We've turned them down before. So this word of advice is mostly for those, I guess, who are newer to the lifestyle. Don't take it personally. And it sucks, I know. I mean, I'm guilty of that too, taking it personally, totally guilty. But if you're really interested in someone and they turn you down, it sucks, I know. But as the old saying goes, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Move on. Greener pastures await. Okay, moving on. Moving on to my main topic for today. Let's see. My main topic, willpower. I want to tell you a story about, well, I'm just going to say it, about how proud of myself I was for having willpower. So, let me tell you about this couple. Eva and I met this couple at Club Princeton, which is our favorite club in Central Ohio, and sparks flew right away. To me, it's always extra hot when Eva is the one who expresses a high level of interest in playing with a dude. I always find it hotter when she's more enthusiastic about her play partner. And if I know she's having a high level of fun, then that's going to help me have a higher level of fun. I'm enjoying the play I'm experiencing, but I'm enjoying it more because on the other side of the bed, I know my wife is having a damn good time as well. I don't know. It just accentuates it. And we never take one for the team, that's for sure. It's not like Eva plays with guys she has little or no interest in. There's just there are just those select few gentlemen who for some reason just strike a chord with her differently. And usually if she's interested in a guy and I'm interested in his partner, I'll try to connect with them online, through a lifestyle site or app. But if Eva is really interested in a guy, she won't hesitate to make a move. And that's what happened at the club one night. She really liked this dude's outfit and found him to be very attractive. So we made it a point to walk by them. And Eva simply complimented him on what he was wearing as we walked by. And that's all it took. That started a conversation, and we spent the rest of the evening hanging out with that couple. And if you're a longtime listener, you'll remember that Eva has a rule. No play on the first date. If we meet a couple for the first time at the club, well, we're usually not going to be playing with them that same evening. There are, of course, exceptions, but that is the usual rule. So this couple seemed extremely disappointed when we explained this rule to them, but they were quite understanding and seemed more than willing to schedule a future date. And that's exactly what we did. So I'm going to fast forward a bit here. At the time of this recording, we have played with them a grand total of 3 times. They are a really fun couple, quite a bit younger than us, like 12 years maybe. But we have a lot in common with them. So again, our most recent play experience with them was our 3rd time. Now, I have said many, many times on the show that I do not read signals well. I don't take hints. You usually have to be very, very blunt with me. Because I can usually never tell if a woman is truly into me. Well, not with this woman, okay? This woman was very obviously into me. On each of our dates, she has given me endless compliments about my appearance, how I smell, how I dress. And I admit, I just eat that up. I honestly don't get that as much as I would like, compliments. But this woman is not shy with her compliments. And of course, as I said earlier, Eva is really into the guy. And he is really into her. So we have a really good, really rare, strong 4-way connection. So that's just a little background for you. But what I really want to talk about occurred a few weekends ago when we hosted this couple at our house. I'm going to skip right to the good stuff here, okay? After dinner, playing some games, having some drinks, and some great conversation, we all wound up naked in the hot tub. The second we got into that hot tub, both women were all over us men. Eva immediately started kissing the guy, and the gal, she was all over me pretty quick. So she started off sitting next to me in the hot tub, but that literally only lasted a few seconds, because then she was in my lap, and she kept alternating, like a few minutes sitting on my lap facing me, a few minutes facing away from me, but always kind of grinding on my dick. And I have a good judge of time here because our hot tub cycles every 20 minutes. So what I'm about to tell you happened a few minutes before the hot tub turned off automatically, cycling. So it was after about 15 minutes of lots of kissing, touching, and grinding, we had each other pretty worked up and ready for more. And she kept grabbing my dick and angling it towards her pussy in such a way that as she grinded on it, I think if we weren't submerged in water, it would have slipped inside. And I gotta tell you, that feeling is intense for me. Just absolutely amazing. Like, just knowing that I'm just a centimeter away from being inside her, but that I can't or shouldn't. That tease is just, it's amazing. And then she starts whispering to me, "Can I put it in?" And I whispered back, "No, we can't." But she kept going, practically begging me to fuck her. And she was more in control. I mean, she could have easily grabbed it and kind of slid it in at any moment. But she didn't, and she kept begging me, saying things like, "Please, I want to feel you inside me. Please, I want it so bad." Like, saying these things, and I kept telling her no, politely, in a gentle way. I told her I wanted to too, but we shouldn't. And of course, she's whispering this, and if you have any experience in a hot tub, the bubbles are loud, so I can't hear what Eva is telling the guy if she's telling him anything, and I'm sure they can't hear our conversation. But she did not relent. She whispered, "Would you be mad at me if I slipped it in?" And I avoided giving her a direct answer. I simply said that the four of us hadn't discussed that yet. And she still did not relent. She said, "Please, just one stroke." And she also added that she was clean and that she could show me proof on her phone if I wanted her to. Do you know how hard it is to resist in a situation like that? A centimeter away from the promised land with a woman begging me to fuck her. But I stuck to my guns. I did not want to risk upsetting her husband or upsetting Eva for breaking trust. I did not want to do something we never agreed to do. We really like this couple, and I certainly don't want a poor decision to be the cause of a rift between us and, risk losing them as friends. Condoms suck. I hate them. But they are unfortunately, they are a good way to stay safe. Not 100%, it's never 100% sure thing, but it's a good way. I wish there were no such thing as STDs or STIs, but they do exist, and it's better to exercise some safety, some precautions, some safety measures to prevent them whenever possible. Now, I will admit, there have been a couple of times in the almost 5 years that we have been in the lifestyle where it has happened. Unplanned, penetration. I can think of 2 situations where it happened. One occurred during one of my first ever lifestyle experiences. It was actually my first ever experience with separate room play. So I was with this woman and the play started hot and heavy right off the bat. We started removing clothes furiously and there was very little foreplay. She hopped on top of me and without any hesitation slipped my dick inside of her. It happened so fast. And you might think, well, why didn't you stop her? I'm telling you, I didn't have a chance to. I remember we had talked about using condoms, but apparently she wasn't having it. Overcome with desire, just swept up in the moment. She just hopped right on top of me, and then in an instant, I was inside of her before I even realized what was happening. And she saw my reaction and asked, "Is that okay?" Now keep in mind, this was one of my first, I'll say 5 lifestyle experiences. So I was still pretty much a newbie and I didn't know what to do or what to say. I had this stunning woman on top of me and my dick is inside her and she asks me after the fact, is it okay we're doing this without a condom? So, what was I supposed to do? Throw her off of me and then storm out of the room in a fit of rage? Nah, the damage was done and I was caught up in the moment as well. So I, might as well continue to enjoy the experience, right? So, I was, like I said, lost in the moment, so to speak. We both were. But I did insist that I wear a condom the rest of the time, like the rest of that play session. And then one other time, Eva and I were over another couple's house and we just got lost in the moment again. We were fully expecting to wear condoms, but it was a couple we had played with many times before, with condoms and without. They were 2 of our best lifestyle friends at the time. And like I said, we had played with them before without condoms, but only after we confirmed that everyone had been recently been tested with negative results. So we're making out, the play is ramping up, and I look over to where Eva is, and the dude is clearly fucking her without a condom. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're not using condoms. So even Eva got swept up in the moment. So I get it. Getting caught up in the moment, especially with someone you trust, no one wants to think about stopping and putting a condom on. I've heard and read many statements from others in the lifestyle who say that getting a condom on, even just stopping to get one and unwrap one, kills the mood for them. And while I don't see it as something that extreme, I do see where they're coming from. And I do agree that if you are in the throes of passion, neglecting to use a condom you were expecting to use could very easily still happen. So back to this couple. The woman and I talked about it later on. I finally answered her question and said that I would not have been mad if she slipped it in, or if it happened to slip inside while she was grinding. I really would not have. I'm human. We're human. Humans make mistakes. Sometimes we don't have the willpower to turn down something we really want in the heat of a moment. So we were in a moment and we didn't want to get out of the hot tub, dry off, go inside, get a condom, and then start over. But that's exactly what we did. And it was great, it was a super fun evening. But man, did I just want to just say fuck it and cave to her wishes. And this may sound weird, but it is a major turn on for me to know just how close my dick is to going inside, but knowing I can't do it, that feeling is just so hot to me. And I have to say, this is the second woman to do this to me within the last, 6 months or so. The second woman to practically beg me to skirt our condom rule. And both times it was so hard to resist. But resist, I did. And I'm glad I did, but honestly, it's not because I was safer. I'm not glad because I was safer. It's because I'm glad because I stuck to my guns and didn't go against something Eva and I agreed was one of our rules. I would have felt like I had broken a promise, and I'm not one to break promises. However, like I said, it has happened before. I'm almost 50 years old, and I think, maybe I should take risks a little more often. Our time in the lifestyle is not going to last forever. So when something feels so good and so right, shouldn't I just let it happen? The simple answer is yes. Why not? Live life to the fullest. But the more complex answer is no. There's an old saying that goes, it's one of my favorites actually, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. But you know what? While I love the phrase, the motto, the saying, whatever you want to call it, it's not that simple. Number one, I would be potentially sacrificing my health and the health of my wife. And number two, I would be breaking agreed upon rules of engagement, potentially ruining a friendship, and also possibly pissing off my wife. So yeah, I'm glad that I had the willpower to fend off some of the highest levels of sexual temptation I have ever experienced. And after this happened, I talked to two other guys in the lifestyle about this. One is actually no longer in the lifestyle. They both confessed that similar situations happened to them when they were, caught up in the moment and neglected to use protection. It was never an issue of deceit or trickery. It was never premeditated. It was spontaneous, with both parties being at fault. One guy told me his wife was the one who initiated the penetration without a condom. He, his wife, and another couple met for what they thought was going to be a vanilla date. But I guess the sparks flew over dinner and they couldn't resist. They were unable to host, like either couple was unable to host, and without a hotel nearby, they got in the back of their SUV in the parking lot of the restaurant. His wife went into the third row back seat with the other guy. Pants came off, underwear came off, and his wife started grinding on the dude's dick, and suddenly his dick was inside her. Now my friend, the guy, he wasn't angry. He actually didn't even fuck the other woman. He just got a blowjob. But he and his wife had a discussion afterwards and decided that they were going to keep condoms in the car from now on. The other guy I talked to said he was playing with a woman. Things escalated. And even though they had always used condoms prior, they got, like I've said, lost in the moment. And the next thing they knew, there was penetration without protection. He attributed it to the fact that he and this woman had played many times before and had developed so much trust in one another. And, they established such a high level of comfort with each other that they just didn't think of it. They were just razor focused on each other. And he actually said his wife was in the same room as he was, playing with the woman's husband, and she realized he wasn't wearing a condom and yelled at him to put one on. So it does happen. However, here's the other side of it. If wearing condoms is your strict rule, getting lost in the moment may happen, yes, but it also might not be a valid excuse. If it is your strict rule, you must make it a priority. Discuss protection clearly and thoroughly with new play partners before playing with them, so there's no misinterpretation of rules and no risk of pissing someone off. One couple we know, when we first met them, they informed us that they are nicknamed the condom couple because of how strict they are about condom use. Knowing that, I can honestly say it would never cross my mind to even ask about going bare with them. Nor would I ever expect her to ever, slip it inside and violate their rule. But again, have a discussion about it. It's an important discussion. The importance of protection varies from couple to couple, person to person, so it is imperative that everyone is on the same page. Well, everyone, I'm glad to be back. I can't say when my next episode will be. Going forward, I don't think I can commit to a new episode every 2 weeks like I've done for, almost 2 years now, something like that. I can't make an episode without content. And right now my content level is low because Eva and I have not been having many lifestyle experiences at the moment. My last episode was about things winding down for us, and I sure hope they pick up again soon. And when they do, you can count on me to get back on here with a microphone and provide you with cutting-edge commentary. I kid, but I thank you for joining me today. If you have any ideas for future episodes, send them my way. I actually was recently sent a good idea from a listener, and I will address that in a future episode. I have to do some research first, though. But yeah, ideas, questions, suggestions, or just comments, feel free to send them my way. You can find me on Blue Sky by searching for Evan Swings. You can find me on SLS.com and Swing.com by searching for Evan Swings Podcast, one word. You can email me, Evan Dienson, EVANDEANSON @gmail.com, or find me on Instagram at Evan Dienson. I have to admit, I have not been checking my socials much lately, but one of these days I will. If you have sent me a message, I will get to it at some point. I will never just flat out ignore them. I'll be back again at some point. Hope to have you tuned in when I do. In the meantime, take care. Be safe. Talked about condoms a lot this episode. So be safe, be adventurous, be wild, and always live life to the fullest. Happy swinging, everyone.